Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Meeting to order, joined with Roger Rutt, John Blowers, Corey Meyer. Is there anyone on Zoom? And Mr. Everly is absent. We've got 4 members. If you will stand and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is approval of the minutes of the January 3rd, 2022 regular meeting. Everyone has that in their packet. What is your
Make a motion to approve minutes, January 3rd, 2022, regular meeting.
motion, Mr. Meyer?
Second.
Second for Mr. Blowers. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Second agenda item is approval of the meeting minutes from January 11th, 2022 special meeting. What is your thoughts, gentlemen?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from the January 11th, 2022 special meeting.
Motion by Mr. Blowers,
Second.
second by Mr. Meyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. The ayes have it. All right. Now we have any public comment for non-agenda items. Comment from the internet?
We have no public comment.
No public comment from the room. We currently don't have any standing committees, so we don't need any reports of that. And we're not expecting any reports from any of the officers unless someone has something. With that, we'll move on to 8 old and unfinished business, 8A branding, gateway features, and wayfinding. Ralph, want to give us a walkthrough of this?
Sure. Tara and I met with the leader from Merge, the consultant that's been helping the ICDA with the branding, wayfinding, and gateway features project. Maybe 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, something like that. Went over primarily the wayfinding draft of the wayfinding program. You had seen at your last meeting the images and things that they had prepared, and we were more looking at specific placement of signs on the corridor and what they would say. That was followed up by a meeting today, virtual meeting that we had today with representatives from PennDOT about what we have to do next in order to get the necessary approvals to put signs up in the corridor. We actually have to create what they call a signing district. And there's a process to that. So we were given information on the correct people at PennDOT to talk with and how to proceed with that. So we'll be moving forward with their help to talk to those folks about the wayfinding program. Ultimately, there will be an agreement that will have to be entered into to create this signing district and set up, who's going to put them in, how they're going to be maintained, et cetera. So that'll be coming in future meetings.
Is the signing district borders both gateway signs, or does it go a little further east or west?
Yeah, it'll go a little bit further. The at least the draft program that was put together includes signs that are farther beyond the E96 to Strasburg Pike corridor. So it'll be a little. I don't know if that's the way they.
Yeah, no. Is it geographic
Yeah.
or is it like
It's
conceptual?
Just The
Yeah.
sign,
Where I
where
was
the
going.
sign,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure
Yeah,
how
that's what I
that,
was wondering. Yeah.
What have they said about the concepts that have been presented so far?
well, the folks that we talked with today seemed to be impressed with the images and the idea of it. Some of the engineering types wanted to talk about, what sort of breakaway posts we're using on the
That's what I
sides.
figured. That's what I
Right,
figured.
right.
Some of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
which,
Yeah.
it'll all be
Yeah. We're in the design phase, not the
appropriate for that
engineering.
sort of thing. So, once we got past some of that, I thought it went well, and I think they also wanted to make sure that, it wasn't going to be PennDOT that was going to be responsible for these signs.
Mhm.
We told them we understood that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's just a process now to go through the remainder of it.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. So any other questions regarding the branding, gateway features, and wayfinding portion? That move on to new business. 9A, approval to pay invoices for a total of $2,851.37. This is for required advertising, audit services, and legal services to LNT, Mardusel, and Blakinger, Byler, and Thomas. Is
Make a
there a
motion.
motion to approve those invoices?
Make a motion that we approve the invoices for $2,851.37.
All right, motion from Mr. Blowers. Second. Second from Mr. Meyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Moving on to 9B, draft schedule for business improvement district project. Ralph, if you want to give us an overview.
Sure. I put together a memo to try and describe how I think it would work best to go forward in pursuing the creation of a business improvement district. And I guess in a nutshell, I think a little bit different than the way it was approached 5 years ago, to try and identify specific business leaders in the corridor. I suggested 5, and to meet with them, make sure they understand, what the plan's all about, what we think the benefits of doing a BID would be, try to address any and all of the questions and concerns that they might have, and, enlist their support and hopefully assistance to demonstrate to the rest of the business folks in the corridor that this is a good idea. And sort of do all that and facilitate that sort of relationship before we get into the formal process that we have to go through to actually create the bid, which involves, preparing what they call a preliminary plan, which I gave you a copy of the one that was done 5 years ago.
Mhm.
It would be very similar to that, having a public meeting, ultimately taking action to adopt. There is a process of voting that has to happen. Well, it's not exactly voting. You have to give the property owners who will be in the district the opportunity to oppose it. So they have to submit, after we prepare everything and send it out to them, they have to have the opportunity to submit their written opposition. And if they do, if 40% or more of them do that, then it fails like it did 5 years ago. So hopefully if we do enough groundwork in advance and create the support before we get into that process, we won't have to face that defeat again. So that's sort of generally what I was suggesting, and looking for the authority members' suggestions, ideas, in addition to or contrary to, or however you think it might be best to proceed.
Just a question on the 40%. Is that by parcel? So every parcel is equal in that sense?
Correct.
And if an owner, of course, has more than one parcel, they vote multiple
For
times.
each of their parcels,
Yeah.
correct.
And parcels within the geographic borders of the bid that are exempt because they're, nonprofit. Can they vote or can't they vote?
We would exclude residential properties who would not be
They can't
in, they
oppose,
wouldn't be in the
right.
district, so they wouldn't vote.
Right.
Yeah, the nonprofits get a vote
Okay.
if they own property. They just
Don't contribute.
don't necessarily contribute, correct?
I have no concern with it. I think the way that we handled it last time was, as you presented here, is a good schedule. I think it close, awful close.
It was close.
Yeah, close.
We didn't, candidly, we didn't cultivate any initial support the first time. And I don't know that would have made a difference the first time. Who knows? But I thought maybe that would be worthwhile to do this time.
Go ahead, Rob.
How many voting parcels?
It's a lengthy list.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably on there.
Yeah, there's
100.
100 or so.
Something.
All right. So the 5, was that just a number that the prior committee came up with?
We didn't do that before. We pretty much dove into, having the plan, sending it out, holding a public meeting, which only a few people came to attend. And then, giving them the opportunity to vote. So 5 was just sort of arbitrary on my part. I was sort of trying to look for business leaders in different types of businesses and also businesses in different locations along the corridor. Hoping that would, if we can convince them, the people they have contact with in the corridor, they can convince as well.
Got a couple of businesses change hands since then.
That's true.
What about a direct mail campaign, an email campaign, texting campaign, or just something to get this information out there?
I think some of the benefits we have now that we didn't have prior, if we have this group to help push it through their regular business networks, I think that'd be beneficial. And I'm willing to help reach out to some folks we haven't been able to reach out. It'd be fantastic if another member of this board be willing to also make those personal touches. Because if we can do a mailer that invites people to an informational session, we now have the capability to stream those, record them, so people can now, not every business owner can get away at the same time to those meetings. So we had a page on our website with those recorded meetings. I think we get a lot more buy-in because our story is very strong of what we've already accomplished on the streetscape plan. And there was a lot of those were concerns that they had. One of the biggest concerns I remember was lane width with the restriping. We've now done that and we have the results. I know the police chief is working on getting some results we've had clearly reductions in accidents on some of those as a result of the lane striping, not an increase, which was one of the fears. So we've got some good wins. We have a good story. I think if we do a direct engagement utilizing the technology we now use, I think we have a good shot of making sure that everyone who votes has an understanding of what they're voting for.
I like that.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay.
All right. Any other questions regarding that draft schedule? I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is there any other member of this board who's willing to maybe help sort of spearhead this?
Phone calls.
Just a couple of phone calls, maybe attend some of the informational meetings. I'm willing to.
I'll help.
All right, Roger, that'd be
Thanks, Roger.
fantastic.
Great.
We'd help with that. I think we can divide and conquer and work through that, and then work with staff. Also help lay out that plan. It's, I think, something in the mail, and then for folks we haven't heard from, I'm going to take my dog for a walk, knock on a few doors.
I'll do the same. I don't have a less dog. I'm not qualified if you need a dog.
Roger.
You can borrow
less
mine.
dog. Roger less dog.
Keep it there. Excellent. Thank you, Roger. All right. Any other questions or comments on the bid project? I think we've got a good framework schedule.
Nope.
Okay. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Mr. Meyer,
Second.
second from Mr. Rutt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The ayes have it. We are adjourned.